Fala galera, bem-vindos ao canal com mais um vídeo. Estamos aqui de volta com vocês com mais um Other Worlds. E é o seguinte, vamos aqui, vamos fazer com essa armas do vazio, porque comecei a fazer a máquina de limpeza. E já bati já a primeira problema, que eu até rodei um pouquinho, né, pra ver se a gente conseguia alguma coisa aqui. Mas vocês viram aí, né? Eu não sei o que é que precisa pra finalizar. Mas vamos continuar. Vamos aqui, ó, armas de vazio. Menciono que eu ouvi o agora falando do cientista que desgabou da arma de pesquisa poderosa. Vamos na loja da Gladys, então. Vamos ver.
We've arrived at the groundbreaker. You got a minute?
Hey, Captain. I heard that Groundbreaker's got a real good engineer. A lady named Junlei Tennyson? I was thinking that maybe I ought to meet her. If you got time to swing us by, I mean. I don't got much experience fixing actual spaceships. I bet you a can of Borston beans she could teach me all manner of stuff.
Eu não acho que ela seria tão útil, mas se por acaso estiver junto, fique à vontade para falar. Não, vamos.
Thanks, Captain. I'll be sure to make it worth your time. Did you want to talk about something else?
Vamos lá.
Captain.
Eita. Vamos pegar a armadura.
Captain. I'm in space. I never thought I'd be able to say that. I think you did the rightest thing you could sending the power back to Edgewater. A lot of people would have suffered otherwise. People I care for. Even if they didn't care much for me.
Tá, então tem muita.
That's not the point. This halfway just knocked out one of my work.
Customs and inspection, right this way. Identification, please. Captain Hawthorne, you said. Let me apologize in advance. I'm about to ruin your day. According to your ship's record, you've been flagged by the board. Your ship will be impounded until such a time as they see fit to lift it.
But we've hardly been out of Edgewater long enough to get in trouble.
Well, isn't this wonderful? The captain's done something to get on the board's bad side.
Now, hold on. This isn't the end of the world. Probably. You'll want to take it up with Udom Bedford, our board representative here on Groundbreaker. His office is located along the starboard wall of the promenade. Shines like a Byzantium commode. Can't miss it. Access to that information is above my pay grade, and I've turned down 3 promotions, so it stays that way. I shouldn't be mentioning it, but what the hell? This here, impounding your ship, doesn't happen much. The board knows we don't take kindly to their interfering in our operations. If I had to take a guess as to why, you must have riled up someone important. You take the starch out of them, well, you won't hear any complaints from me. Oh, and if you're headed that way, would you mind doing me a favor? Wanda Dorset over in sick bay, tell her the shipment's not in yet. It's not coming in anytime soon, and if she'd be so obliged to get off my ass about it. A handful of SAM cleaning units retrofitted for surgery. I don't know much else. I stopped listening when she started yelling. Much appreciated. Is there anything else I can help you with? The fence. You'll find her in the rest and go, on your left when you enter the promenade. Make sure you bring an empty belly. Most places are on the promenade deck. Big door yonder, straight through security. There's a bar on the starboard side. I got a preference for the Lost Hope myself. Talk to Vera. She'll set you right. You need anything else? You let me know. Don't want anyone saying Groundbreaker's not the most hospitable port in the colony. Be seeing you.
Mas não vou ficar muito de.
Captain, could I have a moment of your time?
What do you think you're doing?
Oh, my mistake. Captain, if I could trouble you for a moment of your time, while we're on the Groundbreaker, I may have an idea for how we could find a translator. I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous philosopher scholar who fled Terra 2 some years ago. He's an expert on Baconu. He's also who told me of the journal's presence in Emerald Vale. If anyone in this colony could translate that book, it would be him. That's a good question. Fortunately, we're in the perfect place to start. This is where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. Great place to pick up a ride to Hephaestus, Scylla, even Monarch. All I need is access to a data cartridge from the security terminal. Their easily hackable system keeps a registry of all crew manifests for both arrivals and departures. I'll comb the last 6 months of departure manifests to track the Philosophist's off-world destination. Thank you, Captain.
What do you think you're doing?
Ah, sorry for the misunderstanding.
This is Housing on You. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertising. The board would like to remind spacers and other travelers that passage to Monarch is restricted for your protection. Handlings of acid and sulfur rain are the least of the horrors plaguing the surface of Monarch. Anarchists live as one with the animals, lawless, savage.
Stop that! What do you think you're doing?
Oh, my mistake.
Try not to be distracted by the glare of the adverts. Lots of unsavory types about.
Ooh, can we rent an upstairs room?
You here for a particular reason? Or did the neighbors tell you how good my sugar cookies are? Made without a single natural ingredient, or an oven. Just like store-bought. Those have been the height of illegality since Stellar Bay turned their noses up at the board. You and I could be thrown to the void just for discussing such a transaction. Lucky for us, Groundbreaker's a free port. We're outside of the board's control. For the time being, at least. Now, I only have the one nav key. And they're hard to come by these days. It won't be cheap. If you find yourself lacking in the bits, I might have an opportunity you'd be interested in.
Damn you.
Well, I find I'm in need of a ship captain with a little moral flexibility. Might be this could help out the Groundbreaker, as well as earn some bits. But if you've got qualms... Do you know Edna, over in engineering? Sweet as a pea, that one. On occasion, she'll pass along transmissions I might find interesting. She sent me a recording of a distress signal she'd scraped from the Groundbreaker's comm array. Curious thing is, it came from an outpost called Roseway. And Auntie Cleo abandoned that place years ago.
Agora a Rota Roça, que é a missão da parte do
Can't say I
robô.
know for sure. Maybe it never really was.
Sounds like someone poking into somewhere they shouldn't be got into a spot of trouble.
Comm centers don't operate themselves, Captain. Someone had to have sent that distress call manually.
Those corps are cleverer than all get out. Might have been a ruse to keep the rest of the board from sniffing around. You've got an ear for intrigue and a nose for bits. I like that. Here's a copy of the SOS recording, complete with the coordinates. If you should find a secret worth selling, might be I could find a buyer. Corporate bigwigs will pay top bit for inside information on their competitors. The more we got the corps fighting each other, the less time they got to meddle in our affairs. Don't forget to come find old Gladys when you're done. Might want to acquaint yourself with Junlei Tennyson, Groundbreaker's chief. She's been trying to get a handle on this heat problem we've got. You'll find her fretting in engineering. I'd say she's a sweet girl, but law forfend someone call me a liar. I've got a lovely little throw pillow. Just something I toss together. Like to keep my hands busy. Gracious. Anytime, sweetheart. You know where to find me. Here, take a candy with you.
Damnable thing about living on a space station. No pigeons to feed. Oh, you can feed the sprats, sure enough. But then the neighbors start moaning about it. How do you do? And welcome to the Rest and Go. We used to be the Go and Rest, but folks never knew when to leave. Sorry. Business has been slow. Anything to occupy the time. Didn't quite catch that. You'll have to speak up. Glass ear? Sorry, there's a lot of static on my end. Huh. Now that I heard. Of course, most of our supplies come and go through merchants. Company ships and salvage runs are the only traffic we tend to get. I try and steer clear of that creepy fellow in the moon mask. If there's a cost to being a company man, he paid it in spades. Fine, as long as the board keeps its grubby mitts to itself. Chief Tennyson holds the ship together, the Promenade holds our economy together, and Sublight is the shoddy jewel in our rusty old crown. Our local garbage collectors. That Lilia Hagen never met a debris field she didn't like. She freely admits she planted her roots in Groundbreaker to escape board oversight. But I think there's more to it. She's unusual in the head, that one.
Então vamos lá.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt regularly with advertisements for the following story. Some townships have asked Halcyon News regarding rumors of insurance. The far-sighted corporate leaders of Halcyon tailored their product lines to be selective to the refined customer. Scheduled scarcity is a feature of colonial life. This has been Halcyon News, your only source for news in the Halcyon.
sake, law, is it hot in here? Or is it just my glands acting up again? Yes, dearie? Take that darling ship of yours down to Roseway, where that distress signal I told you about came from, and ferret out some tasty corporate secrets for old Gladys. Shouldn't be too tough for a fella like you, I'd think. What do you want, then? My hard-earned wisdom? Ask the common folk, and they'll tell you it's on account of all the monsters on Monarch desperate to gobble you up. Because that's what the board tells them, you see. I think they made some fool mistake that would make them look bad to the rest of the colony, and they're trying to hide the evidence. Anytime, sweetheart. You know where to find me.
Tá, de um jeito ou de outro a gente tem que vir nela pra comprar um negócio. Beleza.
I know she's in there, Mfuru. You can't keep me out of there.
Please don't make a scene, Doctor.
I am not making a scene. What's that noise?
Volta pra Gladys. Não tem muito o que fazer, né? Mas todo é esse. acho que eu tenho que conversar com ela.
If you're here for this week's magazine club meeting, you're a touch late.
Ah, não, já tá. Já foi depois da outra
Anytime,
conversa.
sweetheart. You know where to find me.
Someone's coming.
Ah, deixa eu fazer uma coisa aqui, pera aí. Tem que levar. Aqui é onde a gente estava. Então... tá certo. É isso mesmo, ela abriu.
Scheduled advertisement for the following. Tossball finals are scheduled to air soon, but a scandal has rocked the league and thrown this pivotal game into question. Both teams have tested negative for performance-enhancing stims. A tossball first. Coaches and referees are debating how and if this behavior could lead to an unfair advantage. This is Halcyon News, reminding you that there's no I in news, no we in Halcyon, and no Mercury in Saltun.
Vambora então. Eu tenho que descer.
Are you listening to me, Emfuru? You can't keep me out of there.
Please don't make a scene, Dr. Fenton.
I am not making a scene. I'm sorry. Am I causing a scene? See, Emfuru? We could have avoided all this unpleasantness if you just let me talk to Jessie in the first place. Let me get one thing straight. Jessie and I are not friends. I just owe her, okay? As for the rest, I'm trying to figure that out. All I know is that she's been here too long, and she's apparently not receiving visitors. Be my guest. If you know something I don't about dealing with hospital bureaucracy, I'll be impressed.
Vamos a disfarce.
What seems to be the problem? If only my other patients had so many inquiring after them. I'll tell you what I've told the others. The records say Miss Doyle checked herself in and requested I admit no visitors. The requests of our patients are paramount, so no, you may not see her. She's not my patient. I'm certain no one on my staff would falsify patient records, if that's what you're implying. Not without dispensation from Chief Junlei, I fear. Supplies are hard to come by out here. We don't have the ability to manufacture our own medical supplies here on Groundbreaker. Regrettably, we are dependent on the board for such mundane items as bandages and antibiotics, as well as more critical resources like adequately trained staff. We'd nearly signed a supply agreement with Anti-Cleos, but they demanded we only use their branded drugs, and that's simply not tenable. Take care.
Tá, a gente tem monte de coisa aqui pra resolver. Olha.
You're sure this is perfectly safe? I'd rather not die early of an infectious disease myself.
Ah, são vocês.
To the last ratchet on rotten time. Leave me in peace. You hoe-headed quacks do know that restful recuperation requires not being disturbed, don't you? What? Why? Everything's fine. We're all fine here. No need for her to be worrying her pretty little head about me. I'm just terrible, dreadful sick is all. Got a cough that won't quit and sores all over my body. Highly, lethally contagious. But I'll be fine, so long as I'm left alone. Criminy. She really ain't gonna drop this, is she? Alright, okay. We can discuss this like the level-headed folk that we are. Seems I've got to do something before Ellie goes jabbering my business to anyone with one ear and an intent to listen.
The truth is, I'm not sick. But if you repeat what I'm about to tell you to anyone, I will deny it with my dying breath. You, ain't with the board, are you? See, I owe them a lot. I might have missed a payment or two, and the other night I swear someone was following me back to my room. So I hold up here to lay low. Udon Bedford's the board guy on the station. He'd know how I stand with them. If you can square things for me, I'd owe you one even bigger than Ellie owes me. What? No, I didn't do anything. I'm a law-abiding denizen of this ship, I swear. Think? No. I recognize a contracted killer when I see one, thank you. In my line of work, that's a skill you develop during week 1, assuming you want to keep breathing. All right, I'll fess this part up too, if it means you'll help me. I'm a thief. I specialize in particularly high-end and historically valuable items. 3 weeks back, I caught rumor that the blood-tier diamond, last worn by an heiress on the Lost Hope, had surfaced for the first time in 70 years. If I had, you think I'd be hiding out in the med bay? I was gonna steal it, lined up Udom as my buyer. He paid half up front to finance the operation. Let's just say things went sideways about the time I got my hands on the diamond, and it crumbled to stardust in my palm. Anywho, I barely made it out with my life, and nary a plan to make back Udom's deposit I'd spent. Thanks for helping me with the board. You're a real pal. Or I guess I should say, Ellie is one, huh?
Cara, mais uma pra... Mais um pra gente.
What? What noise? Not so fast. What do you think you're doing?
Just don't make more paperwork for me, all right?
All I'm saying is, our lives are predestined upon a path that is only visible in retrospect. If I could have predicted my life path would lead to prison, and thus avoided it, wouldn't I have done so? And even if I had, it still would have been unavoidable. Like that time I warned you about the giant pile of Raptidon shit, and you stepped in it anyway. You see?
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regular announcement for the following story. Do you
Ah, de qualquer jeito eu tenho que ir pro tal do dom, né? Tá, eu vou parar aqui porque a gente tem algumas coisas aqui pra resolver. Se vocês gostaram, deixa o like, se inscreva no canal. Até a próxima com mais vídeo. Valeu!